This video is going to cover the topic of adding integers, number line model. Be sure the date and topic are at the top of your page. The essential question that also needs to be on your page is, how do we use the number line model to demonstrate adding integers? As we work to create a method or an algorithm for adding integers, specifically when we start talking about negative numbers, one thing that can help is a visual, and I like to use the visual of a number line. And when we look at a number line, we want to be sure we're all using it the same way. And that means, of course, that numbers to the right, if we're going to the right of the number line, are positive, and numbers to the left of the number line are negative. When we're adding integers, these are directions that are very important, right? Because if we want to add a positive number, we are going to move to the right. And the reverse is true, that if we want to add a negative number, we're going to move to the left. Here's a quick example with numbers that we already know, right? If I want to do 3 plus 5, and I want to use my number line model, then I'm going to start here at 0, right? And I'm starting with a positive 3, so that means I need to move 3 to the right. So I'm going to use a pen here to show that I'm starting here, and I'm going 3 to the right until I get to 3. From there, I'm adding a positive 5. So that means I need to move 5 to the right from where I am. And if I do that, here, I'll show it a little bit higher. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where I land. This is where I end up. So my sum, of course, would be 8, which we already knew. But I just want to show you how that looks on our number line. And now that we've established that, we'll use it for both positives and negatives. So here we have 5 plus negative 8, and again, we'll always start at 0, but I'm going to look and see what I need to do first. So my first number is a positive 5, which means I'm going to start at 0 and go to the right 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which of course gets me to 5. But then I'm adding a negative, right? I'm adding 8, but it's a negative 8. So that means I have to go to the left. So starting where I am, I'm going to go to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that gets me back to 0, 6, 7, 8, and I stop right there. That means that the sum of 5 plus negative 8 is let's see where I landed, right there, negative 3. So 5 plus negative 8 is a negative 3. We're just going to run through a couple more examples before you'd have a couple to do on your own. All right, so this number sentence starts with negative 4 plus 9, and I'm going to, of course, get myself ready here at 0. And this time I notice something a little bit different, right? I notice that my first value is negative 4. So that means I need to move to the left first, right? Because the first integer is negative. So I'm going to go to the left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which puts me at negative 4. And now I'm adding 9. Right, and it must be positive, right? I don't see a symbol there, but if there's no negative symbol, I know it's a positive 9, which means I need to move wherever I am right now to the right 9 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4 gets me back to 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Where I end up is, of course, at 5. So the sum of negative 4 plus 9 equals 5. So the first example, we started going to the right and then had to go to the left. The second example, we started with a negative, so we started to the left and moved to the right. And here I'm going to do an example where we are adding 2 negatives. So this might look a little different. All right, so on my number line, right, I'm going to start at 0 as always. And I have a negative 2 first, so I need to represent that by going to the left 2, 1, 2. And then, from there, I need to add a negative 4. Since I'm still adding a negative, right, there it is, my negative. Since I'm still adding my negative, I need to move to the left again. So I'm going to move to the left 4 more spaces. So here I am right now, and I'm going to go left again, 1, 2, 3, 4, to see where I land. And it looks like I end up at a negative 6. So negative 2 plus negative 4 makes a negative 6. So this one we didn't go to the right at all. We just kept moving to the left. And the number line, I think, is a great visual, right? And I want to make sure we can also in addition to making a number line, be able to read and interpret a number line. So let's try that next. All right, so I've set up a number line, and I'd like you to do the same, and I'm going to give you a visual here, and I want you to copy down what you see. So my question is, can you tell me, or can you think for yourself about what this number sentence, what number sentence represents this image? Sorry about that. So think for a moment, and then we'll see if we agree. So go ahead and write down what I'm adding together and what my result is when I do that. Think about where I start and where I head. Well, it looks to me that from the 0, the first thing it does is go right 2. So I think we start with a 2. And then it looks like I move, I'm going to count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces, but I'm moving to the left. So I'm going to make that a -7. 2 and -7 are my numbers, it looks like. And it lands at -5. So my number sentence should be 2 plus -7 equals -5. Did you get the same one? How'd you do? And then I have one more thing for you. I'm going to write down 3 number sentences, and I want you to come to class with all of these answered and a complete number line for each one. And that's because the essential question of this video wasn't just that we could answer an addition to number sentence with integers, but that we can model a integer number sentence using the number line model. So remember that was the essential question. Make sure you have those ready to share when you get to class. And if you have any questions, make sure you have those ready to ask as well for class tomorrow.